How are you guys doing today? And I appreciate you being here for I guess I keep desiring to call these channeled energy healing sessions because I'm just divinely guided and intuitively guided through the energy healing session for you. So I'm going to jump right into the session and then I will keep channeling and intuiting for you guys. So I'm going to set some intentions for the energy healing and then we'll get going. So give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. So we're starting with the four angelic fires here, and the light blue angelic fire of Archangel Metatron. That's from the Source Fires and Voleuka modality. Many of you are familiar. Some of you are new here and you're not. That's okay. And today, this is about opening to receive. And if you're new here, I tend to channel and intuit my way through this just to bring through any channeled and intuitive messages that are for your guys' highest good while I'm facilitating this. And I'll also let you know what I'm facilitating with the energy healing session as well, what I'm doing, like what energies are flowing, what I'm being guided to do as I'm divinely guided to tell you, just so you know. So today is about opening to receive fully for the highest good, and it's one of the keys to abundance. It's one of the keys to living the life you'd like to live and having the life you'd like to live. Okay. So right now, the four angelic fires, the light blue angelic fire of Archangel Metatron, they're flowing to contribute to receiving more in your world in whatever ways are for the highest good for you. And they're just taking you from wherever you're at to higher and greater with all of that. So you could be a pro at receiving and you will be double pro at receiving. Okay. Or you could be brand new to the concept of like receiving and what even is that. And you're realizing like a lot of people don't know what they're talking about when they talk about it. And like you don't really feel like you're getting anywhere. And like it's okay. It's about the energy. This will contribute to you getting there. And even just putting this on, if you showed up live and you realized it was about receiving, or it's on YouTube, you're watching the replay, you're like, oh, opening to receive, you click on it. Like that is for this, it's an ask to receive. You're asking the universe, like, hey, I would like to open my receiving. I would like more abundance. I'd like more ease in this area. Maybe you're like, maybe you think you have no idea what you're doing, and you're like, help me out, universe. And again, this is meant to contribute to you getting there. So I'm getting to switch to Reiki. So I'm going to ask Reiki. Let me see. I'm going to ask Reiki to flow from source along with the four angelic fires as well. And the light blue angelic fire of Archangel Metatron. Or if it's for asking to switch completely, I'll ask it to switch completely to Reiki here. So you guys are worthy of receiving. I'm gonna open chat really quickly just in case anyone says anything or there's any issues with the Zoom call here. So Reiki, four angelic fires and Reiki flow, please. Thank you so much. So all of you guys are worthy of receiving. And when I'm talking about receiving, I'm talking about the energy of receiving, which won't make sense to all of you, and that's okay. Some of the things I say today might not make sense right now, but it'll ping for you intuitively a year later, 2 years later, a month later. It'll make sense sometime in the future for you, 5 years, whenever. And like, that's okay. Even just showing up here today is going to start to open up that energy and move you closer to it. So if I say something and you're like, what? It was for someone else. And it might be something that pings for you in the future where you're like, oh, well, I get it now. Okay. So receiving is very energetic. And if you perceive the energy of receiving, and you can just ask to perceive it right now, like, source, show me the energy of receiving. Like, what would it be like if I were in receiving in the highest and best ways for me, in all the ways that would be for the highest good? What would that be like? And just get that energy, get in that energy, ask source to show it to you. It's very light. It's very expansive. There you go. Some of you, at least some of you are getting it. Maybe about half of you. 60%, 70, hey, and 80. It was climbing as I said that, I'm pretty sure. I'm perceiving you guys as I facilitate this. So, and like notice how relaxed it is for some of you. Like there's much more of an energy of relaxation and just like knowing everything's going to be okay. And like source has your back. And what if you stayed in that energy more, that lightness, that energy of receiving? See, isn't that lighter? For those of you who are getting that. So I'm gonna ask just the four angelic fires to flow now. Oof. Thanks, friends. Oof. And they're just going wherever's for the highest good for them to go, doing whatever's for the highest good for them to do. There's an infinite intelligence and infinite wisdom to the energy. So it just goes wherever is for the highest good for it to go, to do whatever work is for the highest good for it to do. Okay. So it might expand beyond receiving today. That's by design. I just trust what I'm divinely guided to do and intuitively guided to do and facilitate for these. So one of the interesting things about receiving is it, in some ways, at least in some ways, can be, and this is a different, I realize it's kind of a slightly different than what you'll typically hear take. It can be synonymous with awareness, sort of. And that's light and true for me. So it's like it's I'm borrowing a little bit from Access Consciousness, and I've played with this, and it's really interesting because it's like when you're willing to receive an energy, you can be aware of it. That might not make a lot of sense. Let me see if they'll channel through a way that can contribute to it landing a bit more for you if it's for the highest good today. Um, and it's like if I'm willing to receive the energy of like a spider, for example, or spider, then like I'll be more aware if like I'm in the dark and I'm about to open, like I'm taking the trash out, and I go to open the trash bin and there's a spider on it, I'll be more aware of if there's a spider on the trash bin, like under the lip where you grab the trash can, or something like that. Um, because like I was that actually did happen a couple of times actually, where like I went to go like open the trash bin and I got like spider, like the energy of spider was there and I heard spider. I'm like, oh. So I turned on the flashlight on my phone and there was just this like itsy bitsy tiny little white spider crawling atop there. I'm like, okay, well technically there is a spider there. So I'm willing to receive the energy of spider. I can be aware. I'm aware of it, if that makes sense. And when you cut off your receiving, you're actually cutting off your awareness. I get that's a true, which might not make sense to all of you, because it's a different take. Okay, just see if it's light for you. See if you get lighter, as I say, if it's true for you. If it doesn't make sense, don't try to force it to make sense. Just kind of let it be there. Be like, oh, interesting. He said that, and we'll move on to the next thing that'll make sense. So, because again, I'm talking about like the energy of receiving, not like you give me money now, haha. You know what I'm saying? Which like there's that that's a whole can of worms or conversation we could open up there too. Um, so how can you get in the energy of receiving more? Like things like this. When you get in the energy of gratitude, that can open up receiving, because it'll just kind of like it opens you up to life. You'll sit there and you'll take 5 minutes with like a gratitude journal or whatever, or you'll just kind of go through like a list of 5 to 10 things you are grateful for right now or you appreciate right now. And like one, as you put your awareness on those in that way and appreciate it and are grateful for it, those things expand. and you can get more of those things. And something's paying to be talked about as well. So, I mean, that's an idea to open your receiving. It's just like, okay, every day, like, what are you grateful for? And like, I know that's like trite and everyone says that and blah, 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 blah. And it does work though. Okay. So, uh, the next thing that was pinging was there's this thing you can do where you get in this energy where you have, not all of you are going to get this right away, though I know you can. You get in this energy of like you're totally grateful for everything you have and everything you have that's working. So like let's say you have a hot girlfriend or boyfriend or non-binary partner that you're attracted to. You're like, wow, I really appreciate this. And I appreciate the relationship we have. And like, okay, well, I don't have millions of dollars yet, though I really appreciate however much money I do have, and I appreciate the income I do have. And I don't have the Ferrari I'd like yet, though I do appreciate the Chevy that I have right now. And like what you can do is like you get in the energy, see how much lighter it's getting as I say that for some reason for you guys. And like you get in the energy of like appreciating those things. And then you can also be like, okay, simultaneously, nope, I'm jumping ahead. What's next here? Well, just notice how much lighter it's getting as you just like, okay, what are all the things I appreciate right now? There's a bit more relaxation, there's more receiving. Because when you appreciate what you have, you can receive more. When you kind of get into where you're not appreciating what you have, that's where sometimes things can get what's the best way to say this? Sometimes you kind of don't receive as much, because you're like, sometimes that's like you what's the highest best way to say this where it'll contribute to you guys here? It's like you're in the energy of not having enough, and so then you get more of that because you're really focused on that, and then you potentially create a bit more of that. And it's like gratitude's like the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? So like what you focus on expands. So it's like it's okay to like get the awareness of like, oh, interesting, I require more income than I've been making. Like that's fine. It's just like when you fixate on it and like decide it's impossible to make more and like you just are constantly in this like story of like lack, that can be when you're creating more of the energy of lack. Does that make sense? And it's almost like the opposite of receiving because you're in this point of view or decision or like conclusion or judgment of like there's not enough to go around, money's hard to come by, blah 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 blah, and then you get more of that because that's your belief or that's your point of view, and your point of view and your belief create your reality. And then you get in the story, and then you're in this like tailspin, pock and pod, everything that brought up, pock and pod, everything that brought up, pock and pod. So okay, pock and pod. I'll explain it briefly. It's part of if you go to the clearingstatement.com, it's from Access Consciousness, and the Access Consciousness people explain it if you go to that website. And I'm going to be probably using that today as I'm divinely and intuitively guided. And what'll happen is like it'll bring up an energy. Like I'll say something, I'll ask a question, it'll bring up an energy, and then there'll be something that's not working, or there'll be like a limited thing or energy, or it's kind of interesting to attempt to explain because it goes beyond words, sort of a lot. And it'll hit the delete button on the limited stuff and the stuck stuff and the thing is keeping you stuck and the thing is keeping things limited. So, for example, here's me using it. Everywhere you're not willing to receive and it's sticking you or it's shooting you in the foot, metaphorically, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? And you can just say yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock. Oh, 100 choice points. Povus, gracious bases, beyond G's. Oh my God. That's a clearing. And like I'm responding like that because it's like I'm perceiving it clearing, like it had a lot of energy on it, and then we cleared a lot. Notice how much lighter it gets after I say that. So hitting the delete button on the crap. Okay, for anyone new here, I know a lot of you are familiar with my work and you're like, he explains it every time, and maybe you enjoy that on some level. um it's just for the people who are new here. Okay, so I didn't channel that through. That's from a modality I work with in addition to what I've channeled through and other modalities I work with called Access Consciousness. So you get it now, hopefully. So everything this conversation brought up, where you're like, how do I receive? I can't receive. I'm bad at receiving. I'm limiting myself. All that crap. And everywhere you've decided you can't receive and you're bad at receiving, and you'll never have money, and things will never work out for you, and things never flow, and everything works out for Brandon or someone else or some other facilitator, but not me and not my friends. And everywhere you're trying to go spin it so like or put it in a way where it's like you're right for this and other people are wrong and all the crap. We destroy it on Creative Please, even if it didn't make sense. And you can just say yes if you'd like to let go of it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock. Oh, 100 choice boys, poetry, creases, bases, me out. That was a weird one. So everything that brought up puck and pod. And I was getting into things that were there for many of you, but weren't like cognitive. It wasn't like you mentally decided to do that thing. It's like it energetically showed up for you because you chose it energetically, like subconsciously, for example, or like you picked it up from someone else, or like in childhood from like your parents, and it was just kind of like there as like a story or like a belief or point of view. So everything, all that brought up, Puck and Pod, and everywhere that kind of brought something up where you guys are like, oh wow, I'm not in control of my life. In some ways, uh, that's not totally untrue. Though in other ways, it's also kind of false. In if that, it's kind of an interesting territory to get into because you do create your reality with your point of view, with your beliefs, and like the energies you're in, that creates your life. Because like the energy supersedes the physical. So like if you're in a particular energy for like a long time, is the way I'm hearing it, it's gonna bring in like a physical. What's the best way to say this? Like when you're in a certain energy, it attracts in certain things to like match that energy. So if you're in the energy of abundance and you're like focused on abundance and you're in joy and you're in happiness, you're going to tend to bring in more of that. And your beliefs are also like an energy in your body or energy fields in a sense too. So it's like you have that energy around when you have that belief. I get that's true. So if you'd like to change your life, you can change your energies, which is what we're doing here. You know, you're showing up, you're changing your energies, you're changing the energies of your life. Things can show up differently because of this session or other things you're doing. You know, it's not to like say like, "Oh, I have the power and you don't." That's not, no, like that's not what I'm saying. It's like you're making a choice to show up so things can be different, you know, to change the energies, to change your belief, to change whatever it is you can change that will change things. And this is contributing to that or greater. What's the best way to say this? This is like contributing to that happening. Okay. So I hope this meandering conversation is contributing to you because I'm just talking about whatever is pinging intuitively and whatever I'm divinely guided to say as I'm talking here. Okay. So all that to say here, what energy can you get in every day that will change your life? So what does that mean? So if you're choosing to get happy every day and choosing things that will make you happy every day in a generative way, you know, that's going to improve your life because you're in an energy of happiness more and you're potentially magnetizing in more things that match that happiness. And it works on other levels as well. Like, you know, have you ever noticed like when you're happier, things tend to go easier for you? I'm borrowing a bit from Dr. Dane here from Access a little bit on that one. Um, Maybe even for a lot of this conversation, but that's okay. I'm just going with what I'm guided to say. And you know, like last night actually, like there was this thing I had going on where I was like I was really enthusiastic about it and really happy and joyful about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is fun. And it was like an ask I made. Because you know, like there's things in depending on who you are, where you're at in childhood, maybe where you were really like enthusiastic about it. You were really like it brought you so much joy. Like maybe for some of you, it was like a video game, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get this next level in the video game or this object in the video game, or maybe for you it was like Barbies, or maybe for you it was like you were excited to get a particular car when you were like a teenager or in your 20s, or like you had so much like, yeah, it's like just so much enthusiasm. And we don't need to judge it, because I know a lot of people will go to like maybe not everyone here. Like there are people out there who'll be like, "Oh, video games, that's not spiritual. It's so wrong to be excited about video games when we should just be sitting around drinking kombucha and judging everyone who's not spiritual like us." And it's like, ew, like that's not a high vibrational energy, is it? It's not very awakened. That's very low consciousness because judgment is always low consciousness. It's always a lie, even the spiritual judgments. And we'll judge something as not spiritual. It's just like, is it true? Because it's like, what if you're, and maybe it's just, it's like, maybe someone's really spiritual or they're trying to be, and they're like, no, I can only watch tarot readings, energy healing on YouTube. I can't watch this video game channel, or I can't watch this influencer I tend to enjoy and who makes me laugh, and I can't watch blah, 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 blah. And some of you are getting irritated or something. So that's okay. I'm poking your buttons so you can look at this and see where you're doing it and have a greater life because you will not be judging. And then when you're not judging, you can receive more. Bing, bing. Because think about it. If you're judging video games, let's say, and you would actually really enjoy it, or you'd get a lot of joy out of it, are you limiting your life? Yes. Yes, you are. Because it's like channeling and intuition and like energy healing, like that's all great. Like I love those things. Like obviously I'm here facilitating it. Like I get so much joy from those things. I appreciate them so much. And if I judge everything that's not that as like not spiritual, so I'm not doing that. So I'm just gonna sit, around a campfire with my kombucha and my anus clenched because I have to prove I'm spiritual or whatever. Or like, or I have to like only do the thing that's judged as high vibrational. Because it's like if you're coming from a judgment of what's high vibe or low vibe instead of an awareness and intuition of what's high vibe or low vibe, are you getting it correct? Not likely, because there's a lot of things people judge as low vibe that aren't. And there's a lot of things that people judge as high vibe that aren't. And you have to go with your awareness on it. Oh my gosh, because otherwise you're getting the judgment and the lie instead of the what's true. You know what I'm saying? And if you're getting to what's true, you're going to receive more because what's true for you is a lot lighter and more expansive, a lot more generative than any lie or judgment you could ever buy or attempt to live by. So, every spiritual lie you've bought uh, about what's spiritual and what's not spiritual, and what's good and what's bad, and what's right and what's wrong, and what's high vibe and what's low vibe, what it was actually a judgment or a lie or someone else's story or someone else's reality or someone else's belief, and it wasn't actually true for you. Will you please rescind, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate it, please? And will you say yes if you'd like to let that go? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, crazies, bases, and beyonds. Because what if, this is going to sound really weird, is what I'm hearing. What if spirituality is like a step on the journey? And if there's judgments you go through with that, what if that's a step on the journey? And what if it's not the end all be all? And you're like, what if the end all be all is you getting to you getting to awareness and awakenedness and consciousness, you getting to your intuition, you getting to your soul. So it's not about following the spiritual judgments or someone else's spiritual plan or like the spiritual 12-step program, whatever that is. That's just what I heard. And like following someone else's rigid like judgments of this is spiritual, this isn't, this is right, this is wrong. What if you chose to go with your awareness and what's true for you actually intuitively and like what your higher guides say and what source says? Because my higher guides and my divine guidance and the angels and source tell me things about like what's true and what isn't that would floor some spiritual, like they would be like on the floor crying hysterically because their judgments are all lies. And it would be exposing a lot for them. This is what I'm hearing to say. Okay, this is what I'm hearing. It would expose a lot of things for them. Because my higher guides would not go along with their agenda or their judgments or their stories. It would just completely go against all their stories and their life would be like a lie and they'd be really upset. Like, ooh, this is gonna potentially trigger some people. But you know that like stereotypical like spiritual influencer yoga person in Bali kind of thing, where it's like, I only ate a banana, so I'm more spiritual than you. Oh, you ate a frozen pizza. That means you're low vibe. But it's like, well, if you're following the consciousness and awareness of your body, maybe your body's like asking for that frozen pizza. It's like your awareness, intuition is like, please give your body that frozen pizza. There's something in it your body needs. But the judgment is like, no, only the banana is high vibrational. Only the banana is what proves my third eye is open and I'm more spiritual than everyone else. And I must starve myself to make sure I'm the most perfect spiritual. Rain is cleansed around the fire. Must drink only kapuni. You know what I'm saying? So I know this is triggering a lot for you guys because you've been that guy or you've been that girl or you have a friend who's like that. So everything that brought up, Puck and Pod. At the same time, I'm asking you to look at this intuitively and with your awareness and with your divine guidance, not with the judgment, not with the story, not with the bullshit. Whew. And I realize if you're here live, it might not be you who's triggered by this. You might just be agreeing with everything. You're like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, those people annoy me too. Like, yeah, whatever. Or maybe they don't annoy you. They're just like, okay, yeah, those people. It's interesting. They think that. This might be like random people on YouTube who might find this who would be like, "Rah." or, or maybe you've been following me for a long time. You're like, "Rah," called out, or maybe, and it's okay. You don't need to judge yourself for these things. It's more just like, I'm trying to get you to look at what's true for you. That's what my higher guys are that's what my spirit team is trying to get you to do, are the words I'm hearing. Okay. And this is also you can receive more, you know, so you can get out of the judgment. So you can get out of the judgment, so you can receive more, so you can get out of the stories, so you can like live your life to the fullest. um, because if you won't do something that brings you joy and happiness legitimately, because you're judging it, you're probably not as in receiving as you could be. Because you're not receiving the joy, you're not receiving the happiness, you're not receiving what's true for you. You're in this limitation. And yeah, the stories are usually lies, the judgments are always a lie. You got it, hopefully. So all this to say, like, can you let go of those things? I know I'm just running the energy the whole time while I'm channeling this, so just let it contribute. Uh, if the talking annoys you, you can just turn the volume off, let the energy contribute, up to you, your choice. And it's interesting because the verbal clearings and all that might work too, even if you turn the volume off, because it's about the energy. And actually, they will, is what I'm getting. So that's interesting. Your choice. Okay, here's one. Everywhere you're trying to be perfect, instead of just being you, the true you, the you on a soul level, will you, what's the best way to say this? Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, creases, bases, and beyond. So when I'm saying the true you, I do mean in a sense like you living your true reality that's fully true for you without all the lies, without the judgments, without the stories. Oof, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you being you, it's like you being you and living what's totally true for you, which is like this it's like your own personal reality almost that's like ease and like joy and expansive and like there's fun and things always work out for you and some of you are like that's not true, that can't happen. Well, that's the lie, that's the judgment, that's the story you bought that maybe the spiritual influencers gave you. Like you only get what you need, not what you desire. It's like, that's not true. That's not what I get. I get ask and you will receive, whether it's whatever, and like how much of that is that a limitation when you buy, you only get what you need, not what you want. It's like you only get what you need, not what you desire. It's like, ooh, that's a recipe for a limited life. Because and this might go over some of your, or maybe not. The other thing is like this is really interesting to look at, but it's like, do you actually even need anything, or is need a lie? You're like, what? We need to eat to survive and drink water to survive. It's like, I get what you're coming from. I get where you're coming from totally. And it's also like, I'm not, what's the best way to talk about this here? I'm borrowing from Access with this, where it's like needs are usually inventions. Because it's like, there's this book, it's Becoming Money. by it's the Becoming Money Workbook by Gary Douglas. It's like a channeled, very interesting thing. That's like it's like a transcript, I think, from like a class he channeled. Super interesting stuff. And he really, or his the being he channeled for that one really goes into like need, and like they're like throw that word out of your vocabulary essentially. And well, what they talk about in Access is like need is always a lie, it's an invention, because it's like, do you really need to survive? It's like this is gonna grind some of your gears, because I'm not saying go die at all. Okay. What I'm saying is like, technically the being you be is fine if your physical body dies. It's like you just go on to the next lifetime or choose whatever you choose. It's like you don't need to survive. So you don't technically need to eat. You don't technically need to drink. Like, is it a good idea to do it? Yes. Like on another level, like I highly encourage you to eat the food and drink the beverages your body's asking for, and to thrive. I would like you to thrive, including having the food and water and drink and money you require for that. Okay. So it's like an interesting topic to attempt to talk about because it's very energetic. It's like when you look at it energetically and intuitively, it'll make sense eventually. If you look at it just the words, it might trip you up a bit, or it might like not totally, what's the best way to say this? It might not totally land at first for everybody. And like I'm willing to have that be the case for this. Because eventually if you get it, you'll be like, oh, I get it. Okay. But the need thing, it kind of also goes into like you like have a need for someone's attention. It's like, eesh. Or like you have a need to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It's like, because like that need can really like push people away, you know? Because if you're like, oh, I need a blah, hot partner to prove I'm lovable, to prove my dad wrong about me, to prove blah 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 for validation. It's like that, like that's a very repelling energy. That's like not you know what I'm saying? And it's like, what if you, even if you have like a need of money, we're like, oh, I need money and I need to get money and I need this business to work out. And like there's like this, like people will like run the other direction. You just like your clients, like you might not have as many clients, you might not have as much money come in because like it's like this repelling energy. So is it like the opposite of receiving? That's not totally it. It's just like it's not conducive to receiving more. Because it's like if you notice the energy is like very clenched, it's very like solid, it's very like it's like there's a wall there almost. So everywhere, what's the best way to say this? Everywhere you have a need that's blocking the abundance you would like to have. Whoa, there's a lot of energy on that. Will you please destroy and uncreate it? And you could just say yes if you'd like to let go of it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100. So shorts, boys, poets, creases, bases, and beyonds. Holy heck. I'm gonna run it again. Everywhere you have a need and it's blocking or repelling the abundance in any form you'd like to have, will you please destroy it, uncreate it, please? Oh, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, creases, bases, and beyonds. And all the walls and barriers you have up that are blocking your receiving and the money you'd like to have and the love and abundance you'd like to have and the people liking you you'd like to have, yada yada, anything you'd like to have, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? And lower those walls and barriers. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, 100 choice boys, poets, creatures, bases, and beyonds. I might have to re-say that in a different way here. Um, Here's one. Anywhere you're blocking your abundance, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 choice boys, poets, creatures, faces, and beyonds. Anywhere your stories are blocking your abundance and receiving, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 choice boys, poets, creatures, bases, and beyonds. Anywhere your beliefs or beliefs you bought from anyone else are blocking your receiving in abundance and the money you'd like to have, the joy you'd like to have, the ease you'd like to have, the love you'd like to have, your partner caring for you you'd like to have, or whatever you'd like to have, will you destroy it and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, 100 short sports, poets, creases, pieces, beyonds. One more. Anywhere you're blocking your abundance, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, 100 short sports, poets, creases, pieces, beyonds. Jeez, how's it getting better than that? Let's take a break from talking for a second. I'm going to ask the Yellow Master Fire of Thor, which is from the Source Fires and Blagucomb modality, to flow to boost this session. I'm also going to ask the Gray Master Fire of Ganesh to flow to open the road to abundance and receiving for you. Whoa, that's light. Sorry, I'm getting to call you out, but if anyone's jealous or envious here, um, where are you resisting your potency and your magic? Where are you resisting the abundance you could be choosing? And everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shores, boys, poets, creatures, beasts, and beyonds. Because if I step myself down for your envy or your jealousy, and if other people start choosing that, everyone's just going to go down to the lowest common denominator because no one will choose beyond what others will choose. Usually someone's envious because they're not choosing or not willing to choose what someone else will choose as far as like how great they'll be or how much abundance they'll have, or maybe they have a story they don't know how or whatever. And like, I get it. Ooh, some of you really feel called out right now. Um, that's okay. Am I judging you? No, I'm not judging you for it. I'm speaking to it so you can be set free from it, so you can have your best life. You see what I'm saying? Um, I guess it doesn't bother me that you're envious. What it tells me is that you could be choosing more. So everything that doesn't allow you to choose more, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 choice, boys, poets, creatures, bases, and beyonds. Okay. That envy is telling you you could be choosing more. It's totally possible for you to have whatever you'd like to have. I'm getting to tell you this quote too. It's from Lee Harris, and it's funny. I had like an online discussion, and someone shared this quote. I was like, "Ooh, that is good." It's true for me. I'm getting it'll be true for you too. There's plenty of room for everyone to thrive. And I know that goes against some people's abundance beliefs, so there's not enough to go around, some of that subconscious stuff. So everywhere you believe there's not enough to go around, and you won't receive because you don't want to take from anyone else, and you don't want to be a bad person who has abundance when others don't, because you believe there's not enough to go around. So you're taking from others when you have enough for you or an abundance. Will you please rescind, revoke, or can't reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate it, please? Times a godzillion. Fully for that kid, right and wrong, good and bad, Panabaka, one hundred shorts, boys, poets, gracious, bases, and beyonds. Holy heck, guys, wow. Oh my God. Some of you were doing that pretty dynamically. Everywhere you believe there's not enough to go around, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, creatures, bases, and beyonds. If you're in prosperity consciousness, you know and live by there is infinite abundance and resources. There's a source of infinite abundance and resources. And some of you are going, no, that's not true. You're taking from everyone. When you shine, it means I can't shine. When you shine, it means that you're going to take all my clients away. When you shine, it means that I have to work harder to have more, and you're shining, and everything that brought up, and everywhere you're doing that, and anywhere, if I'm doing that on any level, if anyone's doing that, that's here on any level, destroy and uncreate it, everything that allows that to exist, destroy and uncreate it, everything you align and agreed with and resisted and reacted to that allows it to exist, destroy and uncreate it, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all and shorts, boys, poets, creatures, bases, beyonds, because that is limited-ish. That is limited lies, that's beliefs, that's stories, that's stuff you picked up from other people, that's stuff you absorbed from your parents in childhood and been living out as your reality, as if it's yours and as if it's you and as if it's just how life works. And pock and pod, 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 pock and pod. Oh, that's getting lighter. And pock and pod, pock and pod. Ah, pocket pod, pocket pod, pocket pod. Yeah, I'm just getting happier and lighter as I keep doing that. So and I'm picking up on you guys doing that too. Pocket pod, pocket pod, pocket pod, pocket pod, pocket pod, pocket pod, pocket pod. Ah. All right. So what's highest and best for me to get to next here? All that to say here, what if envy is a lie? Because what I get is there is infinite abundance and resources to go around. I know that goes against your programming like so dynamically. And what if you have been lied to by all those people who lived in a way where there wasn't enough to go around and they tried to take and they tried to do all this underhanded stuff to make sure they had enough because they bought that the pie is limited and your point of view creates your reality and your beliefs create your reality. So when you buy the pie is limited and there's not enough to go around, all these examples will show up to show you that's how it works and your life will start to show up that way. But it's not actually true universally. It's not actually true for you as a being. It's not actually true as far as how things work. So you're living a lie or someone living someone else's reality and you won't receive and you can never have enough because there's not enough to go around and you can't have enough because you'd be a bad person if you had enough because then you'd be taking from everyone else. Everything that all brought up, everything all that is, everywhere you bought into any of that, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Because that is scarcity mindset. All the scarcity mindset, everything that allows it to exist. Destroy, no create. Times a gazillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and puck. Oh, 100 short sports, poetry, creases, bases, to be yawns. And when there's yawns, there's unconsciousness coming off of it. When I run a clearing and there's a yawn. So, holy heck. And what does this have to do with receiving? Everything. That's what I hear. Because your beliefs create your reality. If you're not going to believe in prosperity consciousness, if you're not going to look at, well, is it true that there's infinite abundance and a source of infinite resources and there's everyone can have enough? Well, there's room for everyone to thrive. There's infinite room for everyone to thrive. There's infinite room for everyone to thrive and overflow with abundance. One of the things I got yesterday when I was kind of channeling and tuning on things and getting awarenesses is there's actually enough to go around for everyone on the planet to live a billionaire lifestyle. That is true for me. I get that's true. I know that goes against some of your beliefs. I know some of you think it's so wrong to have billions of dollars. Well, that's the programming that keeps you from having money because you're judging money and you're judging people who have money and you're afraid of being like people who have money who are assholes. And I get it. At the same time, would that really be you if you had money? No. So everything that is, everywhere you won't receive, so you don't become an asshole, or won't become someone who has money, and everywhere you believe it's a mental illness to be a billionaire and to hoard money, and everywhere you're buying into the stories people have that poverty is right and it's morally superior to be in poverty and to not have money and to not receive. And all those rich assholes, they can go to hell and they're all going to hell and I'm going to heaven because I don't have money because blessed are the poor for they shall inherit the earth and all that programming and all the implants and explants and all that bullshit. Will you just try and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, po, creations, bases, and beyonds. Whew. Blessed are the poor, for they shall inherit the earth. I get that's a lie. That's the programming. It's from religion. That's like a Bible verse, or it's in the Bible. It doesn't. It isn't like a church song. Okay, some of you are getting really mad because you've been keeping yourself poor, so you could inherit the earth subconsciously. Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, bottom, bog, all 100 choice, voice, poetry, creases, spaces, and yes. Like, is that true for you intuitively when you check in? I know my hands are kind of wobbling around because my eyes are closed because I'm channeling this whole time, so bear with me. I don't get it's true. And it's like, how much of that is designed to keep you poor so religion can control you? Like all of it? I get like all of it. So everywhere you bought the lies that would allow other people to control you, and it keeps you stuck and it keeps you poor or it keeps you not receiving or it keeps you from abundance or it keeps you from what you'd like to have and all the programming, will you and any other lies you bought that are contributing to that, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Oh my God. Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pot, call 100 shirts, points, poets, creases, bases, and beyonds. Whoa. Some of you might even think I'm like crazy after this. I don't mind because it's not true. It's not true that I'm like actually crazy. What is true is that I intuit things that go way beyond this reality, and you can too, by the way. It's not like to toot my own horn and be like, I'm better than you. If it was, pock and pod. um, Not what I'm aiming for. Uh, because so much of what you've been sold by this reality, by your parents, who are probably just doing the best they could with what they had, is a lie. Like, what if everything you've ever been told is a lie? Is a question I've heard someone say that I think is great because it's more things that you've heard have been lies, from other people than things have been true. I get that's true. It's like when you really look at, because like look at all like the financial gurus and all the people who are like self-help and all the things you've tried that haven't worked. Where you're like, oh, I bought these 10 self-help books and I implemented all these things and they haven't worked, but I must be wrong and they must be right. I must just be doing it wrong. Or is it true that it just what they were talking about wasn't totally true? So you tried to put a lie in place and it didn't work, and you're like, oh, I'm so wrong. Pock and pod. Because things started working for me when I got into like energy healing, when I got into channeling, when I got into intuition, when I got into like, I guess you could say manifestation, but for me, it's talking about the butt. For me, it's more like asking and receiving. Like when I started doing those things started magically working because magic works for me, and synchronicity and those things work for me. But the weird things that people tell you in a lot of the self-help stuff, like some of it works, some of it's really good. There's really good people out there. There's really good practitioners out there. There are great spiritual practitioners out there who intuit things and channel things instead of just going with whatever they think and saying something stupid. That doesn't work. Pocket pod. I'm being really harsh because it's just, I'd like you to get this. Okay. Um, so where are we go? Why am I even talking about? Like, I'm just flowing with what I'm hearing. So why am I even talking about this here? Because like some of the things I say, I might look insane, but if what I'm saying is true intuitively and it works, is it really insane? Or is all the stupid stuff that doesn't work actually the insane stuff that is normalized so it looks sane, but it's not? Everything that brought up, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 choice, boys, poets, creatures, basins, and beyonds. That's a lot lighter. There's a lot more space and lightness. What will it take for that? Okay. So anytime you get like a lot of lightness in space or like a moment of peace or an energy you like more of, even if it's just for a second, you can be like, oh, that energy. Universe, I'm asking for way more of that. I ask for way more of that in my life, please. What will it take for that lightness in space to that energy, that peace to increase and exponentialize? And then everything that doesn't allow it, destroy and create pock and pod, or just ask for it. Holy heck, guys. Um, So some of you are actually afraid of looking insane for saying something that other people don't believe. And though, so you won't go or even like choose beyond others' beliefs, and it creates a limitation. Everything that is, and everywhere you're limiting yourself that way, if that applies, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Wow. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock. Oh, and I destroys boys, poets, creatures, bases, and beyonds. And anywhere you won't choose against or different than what other people say or believe or judge because you don't want them to feel bad, and anywhere you don't desire or want to choose, everywhere you don't desire to choose what will work for you because you don't desire other people to feel bad that what you're choosing works for you and what they're choosing doesn't work for them. And anywhere you're trying to save them that way, and I'm going to say something that doesn't make sense, and all the fifth element and all the TRS contributing to that, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Whoa. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, creases, bases, beyonds. So fifth element and TRS are from access consciousness. Fifth element is trying to be an unsuccessful savior of mankind. So like keeping yourself small to try and make others feel better, to try to save them. Like it doesn't make sense. Like and it doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense, but people do it on this weird on this weird level and pot and pot. So it's like it's a lot to explain. And then TRS is like this reality shit. So it has a lot of different things. Just notice how heavy it got energetically when I said TRS. Yeah, that's the TRS, Pock and Pod. No explanation needed. You got the energy of it, Pock and Pod. So, um, that's what we're clearing when I say all the TRS, Pock and Pod. Okay, and I've totally got that all from Access Consciousness. Full disclosure on that. Okay. Um, and I don't actually. I don't think I'm going to explain it because it won't make sense. I'm trying to think of like, is there some, what would be fast to say here? So they're telling me to talk about like, okay, fifth element is like you attempting to be an unsuccessful savior of mankind. So it's like you're keeping yourself small to try to save other people, or you're like shooting yourself in the foot to make other people feel better, or it's like you keep your money situation small to try to save other people from their money situations. But it's like, well, if you think about it, like if you had a lot of money, you could probably contribute to changing things for people more than if you keep your money situation small. So it's like, I'm trying to think of like a good example of it. Or like another good example would be like you're energetically like if you're someone who like takes people's stuff on energetically to try to like save them from their suffering or pain, like that's fifth element because you're it doesn't really it might not change it for them because they still have all the points of view and structures and beliefs that would recreate that crappy situation for them. So you take it on, and then instead of saving them from it, they are still going through it because they keep choosing it, and you can't really save them because it's kind of programming that tells you you could save other people, and then you then have this issue you took on or this belief and you didn't really save them but you thought it would and you it looks like you're doing a good thing because it's like oh I'm going to do this thing that will save this person but that's just a judgment because good and bad are judgments and then it just doesn't work so that's kind of an example so all the fifth element anywhere you're doing anything like that anywhere you've done anything like that anywhere it's sticking you anywhere you're still carrying other people's stuff and anywhere that's in the way of you receiving and having the life joy living abundance etc., and all you desire you'd like to have. I hope that made sense. We destroy and uncreate it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all not your choice, poise, poetry, crazy spaces, and beyonds. So anywhere you're shooting yourself in the foot, but metaphorically by taking on other people's stuff and all the fifth element you're doing while you destroy and uncreate it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all not your choice, poise, poetry, crazy spaces, and beyonds. I'm gonna ask the four angelic fires to flow here. Okay, we're gonna do a source fires thing. I'm gonna ask the what's up here. Ask the light blue angelic fire of Archangel Metatron to flow. I'm going to work with some Vallejo symbols too. I haven't really done those as much today. So we're going to jump timelines, okay? Go ahead and get the energy of the life you'd like to live. Like you being totally abundant, dreams come true, everything you say you desire, if it's light, and everything you truly desire as a being showing up for you. So a way I could shortcut this is like get the energy of the what you'd like your life to be like in 5 years. You don't have to know the details. Just get the energy. Like so I'd be like, okay, what would I like my life to be like in 5 years? Did you notice the energy I got and was in when I did that? It just showed up. I just got the energy of it. I didn't have to know the details of what would create that energy. I just got the energy of it. So go ahead and get the energy of that. Not my usually thing. I'm going to ask the four angelic fires, the source fires, any of them that are for that is good to flow. The light blue angelic fire of Archangel Metatron to flow to contribute a timeline shift that, and I guess quantum leap you, quantum shift or above and beyond quantum shift things to that timeline where you have that with ease. Okay. Oh, so just bear with me. Am I going to ask the Grey Master Fire of Ganesha to flow along with this to smooth things over? So we're opening a new timeline where you have that with ease, that higher timeline. Oh, see how light that get? Wow, that's very, wow. So stay in that energy for a bit here. So anytime in the future you would like to generate that life, do this every day even, ask to get the energy from this exercise. So like, okay, well, I have to tap into the energy of that exercise or ask to get the energy from that exercise that I got to and just sit in it for like 5 minutes. And you can disconnect the energies after that if you'd like, or it'll just disconnect automatically because the source fires do that. And what if you got in the energy of the life you'd like to live every day? You know, that's a question I could ask you. If you got nothing else, even if you forget about this exercise, forget about the quantum leaping, if you were just like, oh, I remember that when I asked what would I like my life to be like in 5 years, I remember that energy. Just ask to get that energy every day and sit in it for like 2 to 5 minutes. Ideally, at least 3 minutes is what I'm hearing. Okay. Set a timer. Make it part of your meditation every day. If you like the first 3 minutes, you get in the energy of the life you'd like to live, or the last 3 minutes, or you add 3 minutes on, and it's 3 minutes to get in the energy of the life you'd like to live. Because you'll have that in your energy fields every day when you do that, and then you'll start magnetizing experiences that match that and things and situations that match that energy. And if you keep doing it and keep asking for it and keep magnetizing it, it shows up totally. And then you have the life you desire. Whether that takes days, a minute, weeks, months, years. Like let it take the time it'll take. Don't limit it by believing it has to take a long time. Just be an allowance of however long it takes without putting anything on it. Um, you can ask for it as soon as you'd like, just don't. That gets a little dicey because then if it doesn't show up right away, people get upset and then they kind of uncreate it because they're like, man, it didn't work, man, and then they just destroy the whole thing. So sometimes, not always. Or sometimes you make an ask, and it shows up like 2 years later, like, oh, I forgot I asked for that thing. It's like, I don't know why I keep hearing hot girlfriend for this one. Someone's here looking for a hot girlfriend, I guess, or a hot boyfriend or a hot partner. That's funny. I mean, it's and there's no wrong ask. There's nothing wrong with that. Like people just judge stuff so fast. It's like it's okay. Like if you'd like a hot partner, ask for a hot partner. Like if you'd like a Ferrari, ask for a Ferrari. Like if it makes you lighter, ask for it. There's no that goes back to the judgment and the spiritual thing where it's like, oh, it's not spiritual to have a sports car. I'm just gonna drive my old beat up beater to prove how evolved I am and how I don't need materialism. And the need, there goes back to that invented need, and proving we don't need, proving we do need, proving, blah, 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 talking about. Because when we're proving something, there's usually like it came through one of the last energy healing sessions. Like there's usually a lie involved, or there's some type of limitation. It's like if I have to prove, it's like the people in Bali we talked about. They have to prove they're spiritual, so they have to buy all these beliefs and like judgments and projections and stories of what spiritual is. Then they have to squeeze themselves into it and become this like program of like a belief or projection of what spirituality is. And then they're like proving they're spiritual instead of just being what they being connected to source and actually getting channel information, being conscious, being aware, being intuitive. Like they're not being them, they're being this idea or this created, forged bullshit, essentially. And that's why it tends to tick me off so much because it's a lie. It's a quote from Access, like the one of the appropriate times to get angry is when there's a lie involved. And the person I'm dating currently is like very good at like imitating in like a joking way, like that like Bali influencer yogi fake kind of thing. And it was just like it was like I was getting triggered right there in the kitchen. Like it was like flooring me. It was so funny. Like it's like anything you say that's like actually legit, they'll just like twist it to make them look spiritual and you not look spiritual and you look stupid. Because it'd be like, it's so like in the funniest way. It was like infuriating to me. Talking about everything that brought up. Because I'd be like kind of like getting my awareness on it. I'd be like, oh, it's like you're like putting on this like story or sorry, I realized we were quantum leaping, so we're that the energies have been contributing to that. So we'll get to that in a second. I just got sidetracked by this other thing that was pinging and channeling through. Um, so because it was like I'd be like, oh, I see. Like I have like I'm really seeing. Let me see if I can just channel it through because I'm forgetting what I said or what exactly happened. I'd be like, oh, I could see how it's just this projection that they're putting on to like prove that they're spiritual. And then like they'd be like, let's see if I can just channel it through an example. Like, really, I'm spiritual. I think you need to open your third eye. Like your third eye isn't open. It'd be like, no, your third eye is wide fucking open and you're seeing exactly what's going on. And they're the ones who are just like, it's like narcissism where they just like twist and like turn everything to like fit their image they're trying to present to like protect their image. And it's like they're hiding behind this image that's not them. It's like this huge wall and it's all a lie. So, okay, anywhere you're doing anything like that at any level, and everything that brought up, will you destroy and uncreate it, please, times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, part of Paco, 100 shorts, points, poetry, creations, bases, beyond, yada, yawn. Notice the unconscious that's coming off of that because like it's very unconscious or anti-conscious, even worse. Because unconscious is like, um, unconscious is like no awareness. Like you're not operating from awareness or intuition or divine guidance or anything. You're just kind of uh guessing your way through life. And then even worse, you're probably assuming you're right or projecting that you're right to prove to everyone else that you're right and know what you're doing when you don't. And a lot of people operate that way. It's kind of like you notice the comments online where Like there's a lot of people who will just like say, "Oh, this means this and it works this way." But if you ask them a question about it, like, "Oh," because like your intuition would be like, "That's not true at all," and you'd be like, "Oh, is that true?" And they'd be like, "I don't know," but like they're saying it so vehemently as if it is true, but it's they're just trying to look right to people. It's not about actually contributing to people or making people's lives greater. They're just like, "I would like to look right and smart, so I'm gonna say this is how it works because I read it in a magazine." Oof, everything that brought up, pock and pod. And notice how heavy it gets, because yeah, it's a lie. It's heavy. It's not true for you. And then what were we talking about? Hold on. Oh yeah, because like, and so that's like unconsciousness would be like, unconsciousness would be like, oh, I have two job offers and this one makes more money. And instead of looking at like, well, what will the energy be like if I take this job? Or like, what future will it create? Like, what will my life be like in 5 years if I get this job? And what will it be like if I take the other job? And getting the energy of it. And like, oh, this one's more light and expansive. I'm choosing this one. Like, that's awareness. Because, or if your guides are like, oh, do this job because it's going to work out a lot better, blah, blah, blah. Don't take that one because you're going to have a toxic boss. That's consciousness. Like you're choosing consciously. Unconsciousness would be like, well, this one makes me more money, so I'm just choosing that. And like there's no awareness around it. It's just like you've decided something mentally without looking at what is actually there energetically. You know what I'm saying? You're not looking at what is, you're looking at some story or idea or whatever. And operating mentally instead of with your knowing. So anti-consciousness would be like you get the awareness of like, oh, this job's going to be light and expansive, and if I choose this and my guides are telling me to choose this, I'm choosing the other one anyways because it's going to make me more money on paper. It looks like that way. So it's going against your intuition, awareness, channeling intuition, et cetera. That's anti-consciousness. And then consciousness is like your awareness, channeling intuition, energetic awareness, choosing according to your awareness, being aware are like, it's in that direction. Okay, so you get it. Um, so that's what I kind of mean by unconsciousness. I am get like that's I borrowing that from Access, but it's true for me. Like the things I say that are like I heard from Access, it's like my guides vetted it for me. Unless I just poured out of my mouth, then I apologize. But it's like it's true for me energetically. I'm aware it's true for me, or I'm hearing to say it, or it's like that's what's coming through for this session. And if I ever said something that wasn't true, I apologize. I'm doing my best here to contribute to you and facilitate a session that will contribute to your life being greater and you having more of the life you desire and things being lighter and more consciousness being on the planet, etc. You get it. How's it getting better? So, but when you look at that thing with like the influencer and like the stories and like living according to this like image that has been manufactured that, and then they're just trying to like protect themselves behind this like wall of fakery that they've manufactured to look a certain way to get whatever they're trying to get out of it or protect this wound they have of whether it's like not being loved or not being accepted or whatever. Um, how much does that limit receiving? I get all the way, you know? So anywhere you're doing anything like that at all, and it's limiting your receiving, and anywhere you have walls and barriers up that limit your receiving and limit your abundance and limiting you having what you'd like to have and limiting you having, I'm hearing a good life. That's not the words I would typically choose for this, though. The life you'd like to live or greater, will you destroy it and uncreate it, please? Oh my God. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock. All 100 short boys, poets, creatures, basically because, whoa. Let's get back to the quantum, back to you, pot and pod. Let's move to the quantum leap. Let's move onwards to greater to the quantum leap, and then we'll probably wrap this up sometime soon because we're kind of at the hour mark here. So the thing about the quantum leap is we already did the quantum leap. The words didn't matter. It was about, in some ways they didn't. I mean, they matter? Yes, the words matter. And at the same time, like regarding that quantum leap, it was like this energetic thing running in the background while I channeled on what I channeled on. Okay, so you didn't mess it up. All that's well and good. You can always return to this and rewatch the replay if you'd like to roll through that again. Hmm. I'm getting to tell you this. Sometimes like things will just ping up. Like I'll just become aware, like, oh, someone's jealous, someone's envious. I'm like, huh, interesting that came up. Someone's jealous or envious or whatever. I'm like, huh. Um, and I almost would like to ask in this instance, like, my guy, what are you holding yourself back from? Like, what are you unwilling to choose that makes you jealous or envious when others choose greater? And everything that is will you destroy and uncreate it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, creases, bases, and beyonds. Ow. That had a lot of energy on it. Okay, anywhere any of you are holding yourself back from the life you'd like to live, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, creases, bases, and beyonds. Because what if you living the life you'd like to live would set everyone free? Because you'd be an example of that on the planet. I say this quote maybe about every session now. I'm going to say it again because I think it's light and it's true for me. And it's like, hey, what if one of the greatest gifts you could give to the world and give to others is you living the life you would like to live? Oh, sorry, that was not what I meant to say, but that's a valid question. See if that's true for you. And what if one of the greatest gifts you could give others is the example of your own life working? That's a quote I tweaked one word of from Creating Money by Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer. Because the original quote is the greatest gift you give others is the example of your own life working. I'm like, one of the greatest gifts, yes. The greatest gift, no. That's that. Because when I say one of the greatest gifts you give others is the example of your own life working. That's true for me. That's light for me. And what else? There was something else I was gonna say. Yeah, what if one of the greatest gifts you could give others is you living the life you'd like to live? I get that's true. Because then there's more of that energy on the planet. There was a session I facilitated recently, a one-on-one channeled intuitive coaching session. One of the things that came through for the recipient was if like there's a lot if you'd like the world to be more harmonious, if you'd like to contribute more harmony to the world, make your life harmonious. Because your life being more harmonious is going to contribute more harmony to the world. Same with abundance, same with happiness, same with joy, same with peace, same with ease, same with you living the life you'd like to live, same with being a potent practitioner. I'm not sure why I'm hearing to say that. Same with being successful in a way that's light and happy for you and fulfills you. Like the more you have those things, the more of that is on the world. And it's not like you're doing it in a way necessarily where you're like not in your integrity or literally stealing from others or literally bringing about negative harm for others. Like, no, if there's infinite possibilities, you can have what you'd like to have without bringing about negative harm or, you know, without stealing. If there's infinite abundance available, you can absolutely succeed ethically and within the you being in your integrity, I get that's true for all of you. So it's not about winning at all costs. It's more about what are the infinite possibilities of me living the life I'd like to live, and like what's it going to take for that to show up, universe? I'm asking for it. Wow, that got lighter. So another thing and I realize this was supposed to be about receiving. It has been the whole way through. Because if you look at it, all these things, or at least most of these things that came through, they all intertwine with receiving somehow. I get that's true. Even if it was indirectly, it all at least danced around the topic of receiving and like hit on areas where you were limiting your receiving, at least for um because it's possible there's like one thing I talked about that didn't apply to you, or a few. It's like that was for someone else in the group. But overall, uh most of these things will have applied to you in some way to like shift things for the greater for you, or to grow awareness in certain areas for you, or maybe you have clients and you'll be guided to say, or intuitively or be divinely guided to say some of the things that came through today and like you wouldn't have otherwise. Like there's a million ways or maybe more this could work, and none of them are wrong. If this contributed to you and it contributed to your life being greater and contributes to a greater future and contributed to receiving more, I did my job as far as um, Yeah, at least somewhat. All right, so I'm done here. So give me 1 second to just set some closing intentions and asks. So source, please watch over this session. Please close it out in the highest and best ways. Any energetic connections between me and the recipients should be in the highest good as if they are severed now. Woo, woo. And I'm getting to run this. Any negative chords, if any, that remain, not that they would happen during the session. Regarding the session, if any, as that I'm gonna run some Voleuka symbols. So festu, 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 festu. Oh my gosh, festu, please sever those chords for that. It's good. Whoa. And any negative chords that are for that can be severed. Festu, 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 and vastu, please seal the severed negative chords. Vastu, 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 and valeu. Finish off the work for that. It's good. Valeu, 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 valeu. Or what's the best thing for you to ask for? Valeu rounded out for the highest good. Valeu, 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 valeu. Ow. Valeu, 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 valeu. Ooh, valeu, 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 valeu. Ooh, valeu, 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 valeu. And Archangel Michael, please finish that working for that. In whatever ways are for that is good. Source, please watch over this session and ask that it's fully for the highest good, fully effective, and that only what's for the highest good comes about regarding it. Please watch over it while it was being facilitated and going forward as it's uploaded on YouTube and all that. Thanks so much. So a lot of that was unnecessary. I realized that. Crystal says, joined about 40 minutes late, but definitely wonderful, uplifting, empowering energy. Thank you. You are so welcome. Thanks for letting me know. So truly hope this was a contribution to you guys. And I really appreciate you being here and allowing me to contribute to you. Okay. If you'd ever like to go further with this work, if you like these energy healing sessions, there's more where that came from in the Let's Go Higher membership, which is my monthly membership. And recently, I launched tiers for this, so you can join the energy. So I have this thing called Energy Healing Day that I facilitate every month. And it's like a live channeled call like this with an energy healing session, except it's more exclusive for the Let's Go Higher membership. And you can join the Energy Healing Day Pass. It's the Let's Go Higher membership monthly Energy Healing Day Pass. It's 16 months a month, 16 bucks a month, and you get an extra one of these every month. Okay. You can also join the silver level and the gold level, and it'll also be included. The silver level has a full channel mode session, like a 90-minute to 2 hour, like a channeled session with full channel mode session that's included. And then you can look at it yourself at brandonhbloom.com/membership if you're interested, or just go to brandonhbloom.com and you'll be able to find it somewhere if you'd like to look into that. And if it's on YouTube, you'll see it linked below. And then I have other offerings and one-off energy healing sessions and other things you can find on Book With Me on brandonhbloom.com if you're interested. No pressure. It's there if this really spoke to you or contributed a lot and you'd like more, and you get it would contribute to your life being greater and lighter. Okay. So trust your knowing and intuition. You don't have to do anything. Okay. Marina says, thank you so much as always, Brandon. Let's Go Higher has so much incredible value. Thanks for letting me know, Marina. You are so welcome. I appreciate the shout out here while we're here live and all that. So thank you so much. So that's it, guys. Again, I appreciate you being here. Really hope this is a contribution. You can always go on YouTube, and I have a playlist of these on. You can put this on while you sleep if you're like, yeah, I would like to open up receiving. You can just put this on every night. I'm not sure if I'd recommend looping it. When I've looped these for myself, they've been maybe like a bit too much because it's like they tend to be potent sessions. And but if you just like play a couple you feel guided to, or add it to another YouTube playlist you run at night with other energy healing things or sound healing things or whatever you do, which might not be a bad idea as an idea for you if you'd like to kind of consistently up level your life, because it's like that's time you could have some work being done while you're sleeping, if you'd like to a playlist that will contribute to you or something. And you could add this or not. Trust your knowing on it. Lane says, thank you. So relevant for all the changes I agreed to allow last time. Perfect, Laney. How's it getting any better than that? I love how these have kind of been stacking on top of each other. But also, if this was like your first one, it probably also contributed in the ways that you are for the highest good for you too. So let's not limit it and say it has to be one or the other. It's Everything that brought up, puck and pot. I said something that, let me correct myself on something I just said here. What I'm hearing is like this can contribute in whatever ways, no matter where you're coming from. Exactly. Okay. Something like that. Crystal says, yes, honestly, your membership and packages have changed my friggin' life. Thank you so much for telling me. And so many offerings on the membership have gotten me through the hardest times last year and in life in general. I so appreciate that. That was a contribution for you in both of those, all those different ways that you're mentioning here. So thank you so much for saying it here. And it means so much. And it's very fulfilling to know like the work I'm facilitating is contributing and working for you guys and creating greater for you guys. So that's at least part of why I do it, you know? So thank you so much. Uh, Ellie says, and also thank you for being so generous with your free gift contributions. You're welcome. I appreciate it. I was overgiving in the past. If you've noticed, I reined it in a little bit, and I'm looking at finding, or I'm asking for what's the best way? Just what will it take for the best footing and like, fully fledged good, optimal amount of that to show up as far as like what's a free gift and what, and not over giving and doing too much free stuff. So, but thank you for that. I appreciate it. And you're so welcome, of course. I'd like to be I'd rather not limit it, and also I'd like to not overgive, but also I'd like to not undergift either, if that's a thing. None of that talking about that didn't make much sense coming out of my mouth, I don't think. But if I were to channel through what would be true to be said here, I'd like to contribute whatever would be for the highest good and not shoot myself in the foot at the same time. How's that? Yes, thanks, Marina. That's a good way to put it. All right, you guys get it. I think you guys got it, even though I was kind of like attempting to find the words that were light for me or felt true to me. So, okay, Casey says, thank you so much, Brandon. Yes, I echo the appreciation for the membership. I very much love having that library of resources in the monthly events, though I've missed the last few live the replays have been awesome. Perfect. And I'm sure whenever you show up for it, it's the right time. So don't beat yourself. Not that you were beating yourself up, but again, thank you for the shout out as well. And I really appreciate that this has been contributing to you, and that you've been loving the content and the lives and everything. Because it gives me a reason to keep showing up and facilitating it. So how does it get any better than all of that? And I appreciate your guys' generous shout outs about that too, while we're here live and all that. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I was gonna close it out, but there might be one more thing anything else that needs to come through while we're here. Or just anything else. So thank you, Casey. Thank you for everyone who commented and all the shout outs. And thank you for being here, everyone here live. Please, please enjoy your lives and like, please receive more. Please be an example of abundance if you'd like. Not that it has to be like judge yourself if you're not feeling as abundant one day or having trouble with it one day. Like it's not about judging yourself. It's not about getting it right. It's not about forcing yourself in an anally clenched way into this image or this like, oh, I got to be abundant to save the world. It's none of that. What if it's also about, what's the best way to ask this? What if it's about enjoying your life as much as it is about contributing? What if your life matters too? What if you having fun and living your life to the fullest, what if that's a bigger contribution than you could ever imagine? And what if we have it backwards when we think we need to save everyone else first, or we need to make it our mission to sacrifice ourselves for everyone else? What if that's not true? And what if if you think about it, that kind of sets an example of like a lower vibrational take on the planet. And it might be judged as good by certain people's stories and programming. It's just when we look at it intuitively, is that true? Is that truly going to contribute the greatest future to the planet? I get no. If we have the right balance between the two, or we have the right thing where we're enjoying, we're abundant, and we're filled up, and we're contributing in the ways that bring us joy, and we're enjoying our lives, and we're fulfilled, That's going to create a great future, is what I hear. So, what if you can have both? And what if it's not about sacrifice? What if it's infinite possibilities, infinite abundance? And I'm not saying if you don't feel like you're there today, you're a failure. I'm saying, what are the infinite possibilities of that and the life you'd like to live showing up? And will you please receive it? Should it be a nice good, that or greater? And receive the life you'd like to live and receive the joy, receive the possibilities, receive the choices, receive the choice, receive the money that will contribute to it showing up, receive the freedom, receive the energies, receive the people, receive the possibilities. I said that already. Receive the jobs or businesses or whatever that will contribute to your best life. And if you'd like, I guess you can ask for that now. And even if I repeated myself and you're like, I'm not even sure what he said after like the third thing, I kind of zoned out. Like everything it doesn't allow you to live your best life, pock and pod. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Take care and please enjoy your life to the best of your ability if you're in the place to do so. And if not, what will it take for you to get there at the right time for you with ease? Okay. And don't judge yourself if you're not there. Again, please. Okay. Take care. Anything else? Go live. Should it be a nice good? A magical life.